readers and book lovers alike, welcome to You Can Write Too. I'm your host, Aléce, and for today's video, we're going to be talking about writing myths because I feel like a lot of people try to put a label in writing and try to say you have to do something a certain way or you have to be a certain way in order to create a story. With art, I believe that anyone can do it just with practice and learning, and there isn't a specific right or wrong way to do anything in the art field. If that was the case, then everyone would be the same, right? So yes, I thought this would be a great idea to take a break from my schoolwork because my schoolwork is a headache. So I was like, let me just take a break and film a video for you guys because I promised you guys that I was going to make a video this week for you guys. So let's just get started. So the first myth is that you must write every day. Now, some of you might be like, didn't you say that in a different video? I think it's important to write every day, but I do not think that in order to be a successful author, you need to write every day. I think that regular practice is key, even if that's once a week, every couple of days. So I think that you should do it frequently, but I don't think you need to do it every day in order to be successful because I feel like it's important to take breaks. And writing every day is not a requirement in order for you to be successful. So yes, I don't think you should write every month, like once a month, just writing once a month. I feel like because that could, either stop you from improving in your writing because you're doing it less frequently, or I've even had situations where my writing actually got worse when I took long breaks. But I do think it's still important to take care of yourself, and if you haven't written in weeks, don't think it's the end of the world, because with writing you can still improve and get better. But I don't think that you have to write every day, so I hope that makes sense. So yes, the next myth, which I did not know that this was a myth, okay? But apparently you can't make money writing fiction. Who said this? Who said this? Who said this? Because I'm literally looking at a list of like myths and that people believe. Like, do you understand how many authors make money writing fiction? And that is true though, because a lot of people say it's really hard to get into the industry, it's really hard to make money, and I'm like, huh? Like, if you have every writer has a voice to tell and tell your story, and there's someone out there that's waiting to read a story like yours. That's like when I came out with Humanity's End. Honestly, I don't think there's that many zombie books out there, and there's some that I feel like are either too gory or too kiddie for me, and so that's when I wanted to write my own, and that even includes in the gaming industry, in the television industry. Like, I just wanted a good story that wasn't just completely filled with drama. I do think drama is important, but I think it depends on the drama, and I just didn't want it to be super gory, or super kiddie, so that's why I created that. So yeah, of course, like, you can make money writing fiction. That is a myth. That is a myth. That is a myth. That is a myth. Okay, so the next one is that you need to be a natural born writer. I do not think that is true at all, and I think that's how it works with anything in the art field. There are natural born artists, okay? There are natural born singers, natural born writers, but not everyone is. And I feel like I've been writing since I was about 3 or 4 years old. I still wouldn't consider myself a natural born writer because I remember some of those stories and it was like, girly, what is happening in these stories? Like, I still remember my first story. But with practice, I didn't give up. With practice helped me get better, and any craft, any skill, if you take the time to nourish it and to learn it and to get better with it and be dedicated to it, you can do it. So definitely not, you don't need to be a natural born writer in order to be successful. I think that is so important. And apparently, guys, I'm literally reading this list, and apparently a myth is that, well, this is what people believe, which is a myth, is that you should avoid using first person voice. Okay, that is such a lie. That is such a lie. My favorite form of, like, my favorite perspective is first person point of view. Is first person perspective, writing it and reading it. And if you guys haven't checked out Humanity's End, which is my debut novel, please go check that out. But that is in first person. My book Snowy's Christmas Adventures is in first person. So for someone to say that is like, what? Like, if you want to do third person, second person, first person, you have the right to do that, because guess what? You're the one telling the story, not someone that says you can't do it. You can do whatever you put your mind to. You can do it. You listen to me, writer fam. You can do it. Okay? Do not think because someone says, "Oh, you need to avoid using first person." Like, what? First person, I feel like for me personally as a reader and a writer, helps me to be able to connect with that character on a deeper level, because it's in that first person, it's saying I. So I feel like for me it helps me, yeah, be connected to that character more. But I do still feel very similar way when I'm reading third person books as well. So there's no right or wrong. You do what you feel like your story needs to be told in. And yes, it just, you choose the one that best fits your story, not because someone else said it. Um, this is so true. Okay, so this is one, you need to follow all writing rules. That is basically kind of like what I said in the beginning of the video. A lot of people try to talk about this list of rules: show, don't tell, 3-act story structure, your character needs to have a misbelief, and this needs to be shown throughout the story. Like, no. Okay, if you want to make a story about an apple and that novel is just about the apple and its thoughts the entire time, you do it. You don't have to do, okay, well, this apple needs to have a backstory, and this apple needs to have this misbelief that he has the ability to grow into a tree as an apple. And, at the end of the story, he realizes he is just an apple and he cannot grow into something more. Like, you don't have to do that, okay? If he's an apple and he's content with being an apple, there's no misbelief, there's no goal, he's just an apple. You can do that, because guess what? So many people that go against the grain, that don't follow what society is saying they need to do, best-selling authors. Like, are you kidding me? Like, and that doesn't mean, if you're a person that wants to follow those rules, you can do that if you want to, but just know that you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want because it's your story, and they're like, you do not have to follow all these rules that people say to do. And I was that way for a little bit. I followed this person on social media that had all of these rules that you needed to do as a writer. My mom was like, you don't have to do that. It is writing. It's an art, okay? Like I said in the beginning of this video, if everyone followed that, everyone would be the same in the art field. And, like, are you kidding me? Even, like, for example, Dr. Seuss, like, he was such an incredible writer, and he literally created, like, creatures that don't exist in our world. He will use a word that isn't even a word to rhyme with a word, okay? And that was fine. Like, I'm sure when he first came out, people were like, what is this guy doing? But guess what? His books are still relevant today. And so I think it's just so important to not focus so much on what other people are saying for you to do. Do what you want, you know? Like, do what you want. And I just love that. Um, yeah, okay, so this is another thing. Apparently people think that you can't edit while you write. Um, yeah, that's not true. I know a lot of people have they call them like their zero drafts. I just have a draft. Like, I don't really, like, I just put it all in like one document until I'm going to the publishing process. Then I have a whole second document just for putting it in the proper format and things like that. But I didn't know that people didn't think you could edit while you write. Like, I know some people say with their zero draft, they just kind of write and it's like kind of messy and they just kind of go back to it later, which I think is fine if that's what you want to do, but I do a little bit of both. Usually when I am first writing a story, my goal isn't to edit, because I know I'm gonna go through the story like 100 times anyway, just because of how I am, to make sure it's perfect before it gets published. But if I misspell something, if there's something I want to go back up and change later before, as a lot of people say, the draft is finished, like, I'll do that. I don't always do that, but I don't think I can't edit. A lot of times I will go back and edit, and sometimes I won't, and I'll just leave that for when I go back to the beginning. But yeah, you can edit while you write. If you don't want to edit while you're writing, that's fine too. You do what you want. You do what you want, okay? So I'm probably gonna do one or two more. And this one apparently is, you need a degree in writing to be successful. That is so not true. I know that for a fact because I published humanities and as a senior in high school, and I mean, like, I feel like success is that word. It depends on Like, what do you mean by success? Someone that publishes a book could consider themselves successful because a lot of people don't even get to that stage, and another person might say successful because they're a best-selling author. So I think success just depends on an individual's thoughts and opinion on success. But for me, just publishing a book was success. And still, I'm sure if you do research, there's probably so many best-selling authors that did not get a degree or didn't get a degree in like the writing field and they're still successful. Like, a degree does not determine if your writing is good, if you will be a successful person at all. So that is definitely not true at all. That is not true. Um, okay, this is another one I did not know was even a belief that people thought. You should never use adverbs. Yeah, that is so not true. If you don't want to use adverbs for your own story, that's something that you can do if that's something you want to do. But no, you don't. You can use adverbs. I'm a person that uses adverbs a lot in my writing just because I feel very comfortable with adverbs. I really like them and I like the way they sound in my stories. Yeah, so people say that overusing adverbs can weaken writing. I mean, I think it just depends on your your writing style. I mean, if you're writing a book for children, you shouldn't focus on that. And I feel like even if it's young adults, it just depends on your specific preference with your writing style. I wouldn't let these, make you feel like you can't do that. And this is one more that I'm going to do. The last one I will do is I'm just trying to look at one that I can talk about. Okay, so this is the last one. Writing is a talent, not a skill. That is very interesting, and I think it's both. I feel like someone can be like just like being an artist could be considered a talent. I think someone can just be gifted with that talent and but then at the same time, it's a skill because you can keep improving it and improving it and improving it. Just like in someone that's in the art field or just like someone that's in sports, they can be talented or they can practice that craft and get better and better and better, and it's a skill. So I definitely think it depends on the person, depends on the circumstance. But yes, I do definitely don't think writing is strictly a talent because you can improve it heavily, just like anything else. So I hope these popular writing phrases or tips being debunked into myths, that was very wordy, but I hope this video helps you. Just know that if you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't. Do not focus on what the internet and what other people are saying to determine your writing style, your writing voice, your writing genre, your writing as a whole. You can do it no matter what anyone else says, and I believe in you guys, me, my mom, and if you want to support our channel, please subscribe with those notifications on so you guys know whenever we post a video, and please check out our books. They are always linked in the description box down below, and they're all available on Amazon, so please go check that out. And I love you guys so much, and always remember, you can write too. Love you. Bye!